Have you ever wondered what existed before Adam? The Bible tells us the story of the creation of man, Eve, and Eden. But what if all of this wasn't the absolute beginning? What if there was a time long before Genesis 1:27, a forgotten period, erased from history, about which little or nothing has been revealed to us? What you're about to discover may surprise you. Because some scholars believe there's a mysterious gap, a secret interval between the beginning of creation and the arrival of the first man, something the Bible itself seems to have purposely left out. Imagine the earth before Adam, not as we know it today, but a world shrouded in shadow, chaos, and mystery. A place where forces and beings we never imagined could have existed. Could there have been an ancient civilization, perhaps inhabited by creatures or entities that preceded humanity? Some ancient texts and theological interpretations suggest so, and that this history was deliberately hidden, perhaps so that we humans could start from scratch with Adam and Eve without being confronted with memories of ages past. Stay with me until the end, because the clues we explore may completely change the way you view the beginning of everything. The Bible presents us with Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2 as a starting point, but there's something curious. The verses speak differently about the earth. The first describes the initial creation of the heavens and the earth, while the second speaks of a formless, empty planet, shrouded in darkness. Why would there be such a difference? Many scholars believe there's a temporal gap here, a secret interval that contains events that God did not choose to explicitly record. Have you ever experienced this? That feeling that there is something hidden, something you only glimpse and cannot fully understand. It is precisely this kind of mystery that we will explore. Now, imagine extraordinary beings before man walked the earth, angels who had freedom, power, and knowledge, ruling parts of the cosmos we can't even comprehend. Some would have rebelled, challenging God's own authority. This rebellion would have caused unimaginable destruction, chaos so profound that creation had to be restarted. It's fascinating to think that what we consider the beginning of human history could, in fact, be just a second chance, a new beginning in a world that once existed but was erased. What if there were traces of this ancient era? Mysterious ruins, symbolic records, and fossils that seem to defy the chronology we know? Some claim these clues are scattered across the planet, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to question the official narrative. What you'll discover here may shake your deepest beliefs, which is why it's so important to keep an open mind and follow me on this journey. As we reflect on this primitive universe, filled with enigmas and unknown forces, a compelling question arises: if there truly was something before Adam, what was God's purpose in allowing everything to be forgotten? Was it a warning, a lesson, or simply part of a larger plan still unfolding? Every detail we explore, every fragment of information we uncover, brings us closer to the hidden truth, a truth that for centuries went unnoticed, but that can now finally emerge. Stay with me until the end, because what follows will delve even deeper into this mystery, revealing connections between the Bible, ancient prophecies, and events that predated humanity itself. What you're about to see isn't just history, it's a glimpse of what God may have erased, and each revelation will make you question everything you thought about the beginning of the world. And as we begin to delve into this lost universe, full of enigmas and forces that predated humanity itself, it's impossible not to wonder what it would be like to truly know what existed before Adam. Perhaps you've asked yourself similar questions, or felt that unsettling curiosity about the mysteries that the Bible only hints at. And that's precisely where I want to hear from you. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below with what has touched or surprised you most so far. It could be a question, a different interpretation, or even that strange feeling that there's something more behind the stories we know. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content, allowing more people to discover these hidden truths and engage in this journey of questioning and reflection. Furthermore, if you're enjoying this exploration of the world before Adam, clicking like not only helps the channel continue to exist, but also sends a clear message that these topics matter, that there are people interested in unlocking the deepest secrets of Scripture and biblical prophecy. And if you want to continue following each new discovery, each intriguing theory, and each revelation hidden within the pages of the Bible. Subscribe to the channel. This way, you'll be part of a community that seeks to understand more than just the surface, that wants to question, reflect, and grow alongside each piece of content. Because, ultimately, this kind of investigation only makes sense when we share experiences, questions, and ideas. When you comment, like, and subscribe, you're not just interacting with a video, you're helping to keep alive the possibility of exploring topics that many prefer to keep hidden, and you're also encouraging more people to awaken to these discoveries. So, as we prepare to move forward and reveal what may have existed before the creation of man, consider what would be the impact of truly knowing this lost world. And as you reflect on this, let's continue our journey, unraveling the secrets hidden between the verses and between what God recorded, and what he perhaps chose to erase. Most people believe that the story of creation begins with Adam and Eve, that God formed them from the dust of the ground and breathed life into them, and that Eden was humanity's first home. It's a narrative that seems simple, straightforward, and almost immediate, a starting point everyone knows and accepts as truth. But if we look more closely, especially at the first 2 verses of Genesis, something curious emerges. Genesis 1:1 speaks of the creation of the heavens and the earth as if the universe were being formed from nothing, while Genesis 1:2 describes the earth as formless, empty, and covered in darkness. It seems like a continuity, but at the same time reveals a subtle, almost imperceptible difference that indicates that perhaps it's not exactly the same creation. This gap raises a mystery that many don't realize. What happened between these moments? There is a hidden space, a silent interval, where something happened, something that could completely change our perception of the origin of the world. There may have been complex events, a transformation of the earth, decisions and events that shaped the landscape before Adam was created, revelations and hidden truths that haven't made it into conventional books. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring what might have existed in the intervening time and how this gap forces us to rethink concepts we once considered absolute. Comment, I'm on this journey too. What many don't realize is that between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2, there may be something that completely changed the course of creation, something that the Bible itself doesn't detail, but that scholars call gap theory, or gap theory. This idea suggests that between the initial instant when God created the heavens and the earth, and the moment the planet appears formless and empty, an entire era may have passed, an era marked by events so dramatic that they needed to be erased or transformed. Imagine a pre-Adam world filled with landscapes we don't recognize, perhaps civilizations or entities that existed and disappeared, as if the backstage of history had been hidden from view. Some interpret this as a colossal destruction, a drastic transformation caused by forces that defy divine order, a chaos so profound that the earth itself needed to be recreated, prepared for humanity's arrival. Visualizing this scenario makes us rethink the idea of an absolute beginning, realizing that past decisions, conflicts, and impacts may have shaped the world in ways we could never have imagined. It's fascinating to think that each verse of Genesis may contain hidden layers of revelation and forgotten truths that only by connecting the signs, symbols, and clues can we glimpse the full extent of the story. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring how this gap may have influenced not only the planet, but also the very mindset behind creation and the divine plans that quietly unfolded before Adam emerged. Comment, that makes sense to me. The phrase, the earth was formless and empty has always, caused a certain discomfort because it makes us wonder, why would God create something imperfect, disordered, shrouded in darkness? The answer may lie in something that happened before humanity existed, something devastating that left scars on creation itself. Texts like Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28 describe the fall of Lucifer, an event of enormous impact, full of conflict, pride, and consequences that echoed throughout the cosmos. What if this rebellion occurred in this exact period between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2? If powerful spiritual forces challenged divine order before Adam was even formed, perhaps the Earth we see at the beginning of the chapter is not the first creation, but rather a transformed world, the result of decisions and actions that shaped the initial chaos. Thinking about this completely changes our understanding of the beginning of existence. What seemed simple and linear may have actually been a complex sequence of events, destruction, and recreation, revealing a hidden truth about the journey of creation itself. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, investigating how this chaotic scenario may have influenced how God shaped the world and prepared the ground for humanity. Write it down. I'm on this journey too. Before Adam walked the earth, there existed a vast and complex realm, a domain inhabited by beings of extraordinary power, the angels. They were not merely messengers, but entities endowed with wisdom, freedom, and authority to govern parts of the cosmos and influence the earth in ways we can barely comprehend. Texts like Job 1 and 2 show us angels observing and interacting with the human world, while passages from Ezekiel reveal symbols and visions that suggest hierarchies, responsibilities, and powers that went far beyond our perception. But not all remained faithful. Some turned against the Creator, driven by pride, curiosity, or a desire for autonomy. This internal conflict between loyalty and rebellion had profound impacts, reverberating not only in heaven, but also on Earth itself, leaving a trail of destruction and transformations that may have preceded the creation of man. Reflecting on this realm forces us to reconsider our perception of the beginning, realizing that the story of creation is not linear, but marked by decisions, impacts, and hidden revelations that shape the landscape for humanity. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring how this dynamic between angelic fidelity and rebellion may have influenced how the world was prepared and rebuilt. Comment: that makes sense to me. When Lucifer fell, it wasn't just an isolated act of rebellion. It was a transformation that shook the foundations of the cosmos and spread irreversible chaos. The Earth, perhaps once vibrant and structured, plunged into darkness and disorder as if all its initial harmony had been eroded by forces that defied divine order. Some scholars suggest that what we know as the formless and void world may actually be a reflection of this impact, the result of a conflict that God witnessed and, in a sense, permitted, paving the way for a more conscious recreation. Imagine spiritual ruins and uncontrolled energy sweeping across the planet, a silent, apocalyptic scenario where decisions and rebellions left marks that would be invisible to human eyes, but profoundly impactful on the course of creation. This may have been the world that God erased the world before Adam, an early version, that existed, suffered, and needed to be transformed. With each detail we attempt to mentally reconstruct, we realize that the creation we know may be just the final stage in a complex sequence of events, a journey of transformation that began long before humankind existed. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, examining how this destruction and recreation were not just physical, but also spiritual, shaping humanity's future in ways few consider. Comment: I'm on this journey too. After the destruction and chaos that gripped the Earth, a moment of profound transformation emerged, a turning point that redefined all creation. When God said, "Let there be light," he wasn't just creating something new out of nothing. He was performing a recreation, a conscious process of reorganizing, restoring, and preparing a world ready to fully welcome humanity. Adam then would not only be the first man, but the protagonist of a carefully planned story inserted into a scenario, reconstructed from the decisions, impacts, and lessons of previous eras. This recreation was not only physical, but also spiritual, involving the redefinition of structures, energies, and possibilities, as if the backstage of the universe were being adjusted so that every detail of human existence had a purpose. As we reflect on this, we realize that the creation we know is the result of a journey of transformation and divine planning, a sequence of events that blend destruction, reconstruction, and strategic intent. Now, I want to delve even deeper into the subject, exploring how this new stage of creation established not only the Earth, but also the principles and mindset that would shape humanity and its role within the divine plan. Comment: That makes sense to me as we reflect on ray creation. An intriguing question arises. What if traces of this earlier era were still present, hidden right in front of us? Ancient ruins, fossils that don't fit the traditional chronology, and mysterious civilizations seem to challenge the conventional narrative of creation. Some archaeologists and scholars argue that certain structures and records may be echoes of a world that existed before Adam, as if they were clues left behind in history, waiting to be connected. The Bible also preserves symbolic fragments that suggest hidden events, realities parallel to the creation of man, moments that may have been deliberately erased or transformed to shield humanity from overly complex truths. Thinking about this stirs our mindset. Coincidence? Or evidence of something intentionally hidden, a profound impact that shaped the planet and the very perception of our journey. Every discovery, every analysis of fossils and ruins brings us closer to a hidden truth that defies common understanding and makes us question decisions and transformations that occurred long before our time. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring how these vestiges can reveal secrets from the previous world, fragments of an erased past that still influence the present creation. Comment: I'm on this journey too, reflecting on all this. A perspective emerges that changes how we view the beginning of creation. Perhaps what existed before Adam wasn't simply forgotten, but left as a lesson, a silent reminder that decisions, rebellions, and impacts have profound consequences. The story of Lucifer, of the chaos that dominated the earth, and of divine recreation reveals a pattern of transformation and hope. Even in the face of destruction, God offers a new chance, not only to humanity, but to creation itself, shaping it into a more conscious, balanced, and purposeful form. This vision connects us emotionally, showing that behind every verse, every symbolic passage, there is a journey of learning, planning, and care where every detail, even those that seem lost or hidden, has a direct impact on our own existence and mindset. Now, I want to delve even deeper into the subject, exploring how this divine purpose manifests itself in the choices and transformations that shape the world and prepare humanity for its own journey. Comment: that makes sense to me. Now that we've explored chaos, the fall, recreation, and the vestiges of a world before Adam, a question remains that challenges our understanding. Did it all truly begin with him? Or was there something more? Something the Bible only hints at? Considering the possibility of a previous creation forces us to reconsider not only human history, but also how we understand the decisions, impacts, and transformations that shape the earth and the journey of creation itself. It's like peering behind the scenes of a complex divine plan where every detail, every act of rebellion, and every new opportunity has profound and subtle consequences. Reflecting on this connects us with a hidden truth, showing that even in what seems lost, there is purpose and learning. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this. Subject: investigating the revelations that can change the way we view the beginning of the world and humanity's role within this plan. Comment: I'm on this journey too. If you've made it this far, congratulations on embarking on this journey through the mysteries before Adam. It's incredible to ponder the layers of history, decisions, and transformations that shape the world and humanity itself, and sharing this with you makes this exploration even more valuable. If this conversation resonated with you, leave a comment saying, "I'm with you until the end," so I know we're connected in the search for hidden truths. And if you felt this connection and this discovery, give the video a like. It's a simple way to acknowledge the journey we've been on together. To continue exploring this universe of mysteries and revelations, there's a video here that complements this topic. Click and stay with me there, because there's still much to discover about what the Bible hid and the behind the scenes of creation.